Update Wednesday, Hurricane Sally. Well, you can see it, it's on land, but it didn't come towards Houston. And if somebody would have had one of a Orgone bubble in Alabama, that thing would have been half that size or less. It didn't really get close enough to me for me to make a big difference on it, but I definitely kept it away from me. It still hasn't rained in Houston. There's not a lot of red in it, I noticed. A lot of yellow, but and it wasn't being fed into the hurricane really. If you notice, um, the water is what feeds it in, the energy to it. So when it comes back around, when my bubbles are on, I've noticed that the hurricanes start unraveling out on top first before they hit the land, and then they don't whip all the way around ever. Like the whole corner is missing from them, and that's what feeds into it to give it more power. So if you cut off one leg of this thing, it's not going to work like a machine, like it's supposed to. So it does a lot less damage. Even though it wasn't close enough to me, to my bubbles, I still have it aimed in this direction, and I was able to take out the corner of it. I mean, I could turn my dish that way, but I have it balanced right now, and it's very heavy, and I dropped it before and broke some stuff, so I'm not going to mess with it. But the satellite dish covers a pretty good area, like probably an angle like that, something like that. Pretty good angle, the satellite dish. That's enough. Once it gets on land, it's not going to do it. It can't generate anything else. So really what I'm protecting is the Gulf. The hot water in the Gulf is what does it. There's what happened to this other storm. It's gone. The other hurricane. That's what's left of it. So there's going to be a lot of rain in that area, but I don't think it's as bad as it could have been, for sure. Thank you. Okay, 4 p.m. Wednesday. Sally is fully on land in Alabama. It's hitting Montgomery right now, and it's still being fed a little bit from the water, but not as much as it could have been. There's not too much red in there. It's mostly yellow and green, which is good. Getting power knocked out and flooding is not good, so I went ahead and turned off my infrared light so it could rain over here if it needs to. A little bit of rain popped up by Houston, so that's fine. We just don't like the red stuff. Here's the other site. It's called weather.cod.edu. And it's got all kinds of stuff on here, like weather patterns. I don't even know how to operate it, really. There's so much stuff, but this is the main part that I like. It has earthquakes too on here somewhere. Seismographs, all that. This has to be a government site if it's related to EDU or some kind of university. So for those of you that don't know, this is all, I'm doing this because I have an Orgone bubble and I can control bad weather that comes my way. I can aim it and focus it on storms, on hurricanes, and I'm in Houston, so I'm tracking all of them too now, and it's getting towards the end of the season, but I've been doing this since 2018 and there has not been one hurricane that hit Houston. I have not lost power since the last one in 2017. So if one person in Alabama were to have a bubble like mine, which only costs like $100, that right there would have just been a light tropical storm at the most. If that would have came by me, it would have been fully disintegrated. If anybody wants to know how to make them, just go to, there's a Facebook group called Bubble Tech, and if you join that group and you go into the file section, they have a lot of instructional files that you can download. One of them, a good one, is called How to Make the Most Powerful Bubble. Something like that. There's a lot of files in there you can pick when they're all right, because all those people are techs. You know, they're all do the scientific method, and people that are woke. That's how I got into this. Just the basic facts of how Orgone works by itself, and if you connect a Tesla coil to it, forget it. There's no way the deep state can ever hurt us again, because this was their main weapon that they used to cause havoc, and people would think it was God. And I mean, how can you stop a hurricane? How can you stop an earthquake, a tsunami, a volcano? How can you stop that? We're only humans, right? Well, they can start it, they can make it, so we can unmake it. And we did with these Orgone bubbles. You can stop a hurricane and all those things that I mentioned. And I know it seems crazy, but the physics behind it is real, and this is from real scientists that figured this out, and from suppressed data, suppressed technology that they don't want to get out, that the government knows about it. All this stuff, they just never let it out to the right people. I'm also on Facebook. You can go to Orgone World and you can look at some of the stuff I have there. So that's about it. The storm is pretty much kaput in the Gulf anyway. Yeah, Alabama's getting it, and they're going to get some rain and all that, but it's not going to sit there. It's not going to spin. It wasn't really red, and I think I helped. So all they have to do is get one person in New Orleans to get a bubble, one person in Alabama, one person in Florida, and I already have Houston covered. So if we have 3 or 4 of these, they won't never even come into the Gulf anymore. So anyway, thanks a lot. Have a good one.